The most important meal of the day, second breakfast.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another week of Second Breakfast Podcast. I'm Andy Roth alongside Phil Duvall. Say hi, Phil.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Andy.
Ooh.
It's good to be back.
I like the dulcet tones. How
Well,
are you?
hello. Haven't had caffeine in over a week. It's a whole new me.
Congratulations.
I
Congratulations?
guess.
Is that what we're... Sure.
I don't know.
Why
I
not?
don't know. It's just a thing I'm doing.
Nice. Well done. It is Monday. Happy Monday,
I feel
everybody.
exactly the same. People are like, I feel so much better when you get rid of caffeine. It's so much different. Your body's so much purer. I feel exactly the same.
Sure. Well, you've been putting a lot of caffeine into it for many, many years. And you've been
It
off
might
it for a
take
week.
years for it to come off.
It might take more than a week, is what I'll say.
I don't know. We'll see. I already had my headaches, so we'll see.
Nice. Ugh, sorry to hear that. So,
That's okay.
on Mondays here at Second Breakfast, we like to we give you a recap of all the movies we've seen over the past week. We talk about movies coming out in the upcoming weekend that we are interested in seeing.
Things to which we are looking forward.
Well played, Grammar Police. And we're debuting a new feature today, a little ditty we call One Big Thing. And we're going to tell you, frankly, one big thing that happened to each of us over the course of the last year.
Or just one big thing. Yeah, or just one big thing we just need to say. Like, I just have to say this or else.
Have to say it.
It doesn't warrant an entire podcast, a whole episode, but damn it all, it needs to be said.
It's something that must be said. Must be said.
Exactly. You got it. You got it.
So,
okay.
So yeah. And by the way, the movies we saw in the last week and the movies coming out this upcoming weekend, we're going to do all of that in 5 minutes.
As we do. As is our want.
Yeah, as is our want.
I already know what you're excited about this coming weekend.
Yeah, you do.
All right. My one big thing from last week I have to tell you about.
Can't wait.
When I list the movies that I saw this past week, one of the movies I list will be City Slickers.
Awesome.
Do you know what channel I saw City Slickers on?
What channel did you watch City Slickers on?
On which channel I saw City Slickers? I'm working on this thing. The Independent Film Channel.
Okay.
IFC. Right. So I made a list of the movies that, this is not an exhaustive list. I left a couple off.
Okay.
Here is a list of movies that the Independent Film Channel will be airing over the next week.
Oh boy. Okay.
Shawshank Redemption.
Clearly an indie movie.
Mommy Dearest.
Okay.
Austin Powers Goldmember.
Yes.
Scream.
Sure.
About a Boy. Dr. Strangelove. Teaching Mrs. Tingle. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Clearly an independent movie.
Less Than Zero.
Okay.
Lord of War. Copland. Collateral Damage, the Schwarzenegger action movie. The original Shaft. District 9. The Fugitive. The Kubrick version of Lolita. City Slickers again, which I commend to you all.
Indeed.
And Turistas.
Wow. Well,
has something happened to IFC that we need to talk about?
I mean, I'm just glad they're finally shining a light on those two kings of independent cinema, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Harrison Ford.
Yeah. Not to mention Nick Cage and Mike Myers.
Indeed. Thank goodness, Dutch from Predator and Indiana Jones are finally finding their way onto IFC.
Finally, maybe they'll have a voice.
Yeah, indeed.
Now listen.
They'll reach the audience that they deserve. Finally.
Now to be fair, the list of movies the names of the movies I just listed, I would probably watch this list before I'd watch anything that was on the old IFC.
Fair.
Being fair. And secondly, they have a new sitcom that I haven't watched yet, but it's starring Mark Maron, and it's Mark Maron doing the Louis C.K. thing. Because it's called Maron. It's about him. Nice. And then they'd show a ton of Freaks and Geeks and Arrested Development reruns. And if you had to pick two of my favorite shows on television, those two would be in my top. Freaks and Geeks would be in my top 10. Unquestionably. Arrested Development would be in my top 10 or 15. It's up there. It's fantastic.
Sure.
It's a great show. So,
Sure.
yeah, I mean, it's not like they have bad taste. I'm
Right.
not questioning their taste. I mean, I'm the one who taped City Slickers and watched it and reveled.
Right. You're questioning their I in their name. if
Yeah,
you
you're
will.
a film channel,
Yeah.
also showing television now. And
Right.
actually, what's funny is the television shows they're showing are basically like television shows that, Freaks and Geeks and Arrested Development. I mean, these are, like
Yeah.
shows that didn't get the play they deserved when they were around.
That's fair.
Like everyone being so crazy about it for Arrested Development now, half the time I want to be like, you didn't watch it when it was on television. I watched it when it was on television. I
Nice.
was one of the people who was legitimately angry when it got canceled.
Yes, me too.
So
I wasn't there
yes,
from the beginning. I confess I wasn't there from the beginning, but I was
Sure.
there by season 2.
I watched, and I don't know why, but I watched the very first episode, and I loved it. I loved the show.
Nice.
Just a phenomenal show, and it was a show that my wife and I had it on all of them on DVD, and she had never seen them. And in our second or third date, we watched Arrested Development, and she was
Awesome.
like, "All right, I'll date
And
you."
she was like, I'm going to marry that man.
She was like, "I guess, whatever." I think she was like, "He has a big television. This is gonna work out."
Dude, successful marriages have been built on less.
Love is a many splendored thing. It's true. One of the splendors there. So that's my one big thing.
Nice.
IFC.
Nice.
What?
Nice. Nice.
What do you got for me? Anything?
My one big thing is not movies, although
Okay.
it is tangentially related to movies enough that I wanted to that I feel compelled to talk about it.
Phew.
You may know, both Phil and Second Breakfast Nation, I am a fan of zombie movies.
What?
I
I
know.
love what you're gonna
No,
tell
it's
everybody right
true.
now. No, I love what you're going to tell everybody right
It's
now.
true. So, I love zombies in general, not just movies, although, let's be honest, that's where you find most of them. But I did have a friend of mine write me a zombie-themed song, and to date he has produced 3, for my birthday. And they are fantastic. And perhaps someday we'll have him on to perform them, or just to talk to him, because he's a lovely human being. Anyway, I also love, and I really love, this book that was written by Mel Brooks' son, Max Brooks, which is not a comedy book, called World War Z. And it is done in the style of Studs Terkel, like the oral history. It's a series of interviews, and it is a marvelous book. And they are making, as you know if you've listened to the podcast and or seen the commercials, they're making a movie that is just guaranteed to be wretched. It's going to be terrible. I'm going to see it. Phil is not,
Not going to see it.
and I can't really blame him for that. I cast no judgment, and I'm willing to have him
You're
judge
slightly
me.
jealous. You're slightly jealous.
I am slightly jealous. But the book came out in the mid 2000s.
Yep.
Yeah. And pretty shortly thereafter, an audiobook came out. And I told my dad doesn't do a lot of reading of books because he reads all day. But he loves books. So he listens to audiobooks. And I said, Dad, you've got to get the audiobook of World War Z. And he listened to it. I think he liked it. And then sorry, fans of the Copyright Act, he copied the discs and he sent them to me. And I found out it was heavily abridged. And I was like, this is really disappointing. And because zombies have sort of stayed in the pop culture consciousness, and because the movie is coming out, they went back and they filled in all of the gaps. And it's truly an all-star cast. Mark Hamill, Cal Penn, both Carl Reiner and Rob Reiner, which I
Nice.
just love. Alan Alda, Martin Scorsese.
There it is.
Oh.
It is.
Nathan Fillion, Becky Ann Baker, the mom from Freaks and Geeks. I could just go on and on. It's a wonderful cast. And the unabridged or complete, it's technically not unabridged because there is a conversation that they were unable to, it's like this much of a page between 2 of the characters, and the older character was in the original recording and they couldn't get him back to record the dialogue. So
Weird. Okay.
it is weird, but because like half a page is missing, they can't call it unabridged, but everything else is in there. And it came out this past Tuesday. And I find myself wanting there to be more traffic so that I can listen to more of the book. It is spectacular. Highest
Nice.
recommendation. It's wonderful.
Nice.
So that's my one big thing.
I think I'm gonna get that. I love it.
Do. Worth
Okay.
it. Totally worth it.
Normally, I just listen to Us when I'm driving.
Sure.
I'm just kidding. I don't do that all the time. I do that sometimes.
I do it all the time. But not
I
anymore.
do it sometimes, and I'm like, just to kind of go, what are we doing? Is this working? What's going on here?
And then you listen to like 5 seconds of us and you're like, it's totally working. Come on.
I'm like, this is great. The first 5 seconds were great. Does anyone listen to Beyond This? I think people have already stopped listening to this one. All right, so all right,
So here we go.
I set the clock.
I have set the clock for 4 minutes and 50 seconds. What's going to happen is you're going to hear an old-timey car horn. That means we have 10 seconds left. Auga. So that's what's going to happen. We're going to talk about the movies that we've seen and the movies that we're looking forward to seeing this Friday. And I'm going to go first.
Do it.
That's it. And I'm starting the timer now. Okay. I saw 8 movies this week, I think. I saw the first one is Payback, which is Project Melway's. It's the Mel Gibson movie we watched this week for Project Melway. I also saw 2 other movies for Project Melway, bringing my total so far to 3, that I don't want to tell you about because we've got something very special planned for Wednesday that I think you're all really going to love. So tune in Wednesday to find out about that. I saw Star Trek Into Darkness. I actually saw it twice. I saw it, and then I saw it in IMAX 3D. And unless you hate 3D, I would recommend it. It is spectacular.
Okay.
Perhaps unsurprisingly, the 5th movie I saw this week, Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan.
Nice.
I then saw the hockey comedy Goon,
Nice.
which is an extraordinarily gory and at the same time adorable movie about fighting in hockey.
Oh, it's a great movie. It's
Oh,
really,
it's just-
really. That might not be a great movie. It's a really good movie.
I would agree with everything you just said. It might not be great. It might be great. It probably isn't, but at the very least, it is very, very good.
Yeah.
I saw Valhalla Rising, which is Nicholas Winding Refn's, not his first movie, but the first movie of his I heard about, the guy who directed Drive, starring the guy who is now playing Hannibal Lecter on the TV show. It is one of the most flat out badass performances I have ever seen in any movie ever. He is ridiculous.
Right.
Not sure how I feel about the movie. Think I liked it, but we'll see as time goes on. And then
Sure.
the final movie I watched, there's a movement, a recent movement over the past decade or so called mumblecore, which is very, very, very low budget movies that are basically just about people talking, and you might find it boring. I did not. One of the early pillars of this genre, The Puffy Chair, starring Mark Duplass and Katie Hazelton as a couple who takes a road trip along with his crunchy granola brother, and I thought it was really, really affecting. I liked it a lot. That's my week. Phil,
Wow.
what do
Well,
you got?
all week Andy was like, "You're gonna beat me." No, I got 7 movies down.
Oh.
You did not beat me. You did. Now, by the way, a couple weeks ago, I missed a movie that I forgot to put on the list, and it was it was a made-for-TV Tinkerbell movie that I watched with my daughter. But
Nice.
it counts because it's a full-length movie, and I watched the whole freaking thing.
Nice,
My first movie was Up. Got to watch Up this week.
lovely.
My next movie was City Slickers. So far, what a great week.
You're killing it. You're
Okay.
killing it.
Then Star Trek, the J.J. Abrams Star Trek, so I could get ready for the movie, which I then did not see in the theaters. Instead, I went and saw Iron Man 3 again with my youth group.
Sure.
And then I saw Payback
Mm-hmm.
for Project Melway, and then 2 other movies that are surprise for Project Melway. And that brings me up to 7. I've already talked about City Slickers. Up is amazing.
Yeah.
I watched 2/3 of Ratatouille, and then my daughter got distracted, and we had to do something else.
Oh,
And I watched about 2/3 of Monsters Inc. And then my daughter got distracted and we had to do something else. It
Nice.
was devastating.
I'm very
So
sorry
I
to hear
would
that.
have, if we had finished those 2 movies, which we totally could have,
You would
I'd
have
have been
beaten
at I'd have been at 9. But nope. No,
Nicely
alas, here I am
Nicely
at
done.
7.
I'm not going to count this in my list, but on your recommendation from a couple weeks ago, or sometime recently, I watched the Patrice O'Neill stand up, and
Elephant
it is
in the Room?
just wonderful. It's just
It's
wonderful.
one of the best.
So good.
Patrice O'Neill, Elephant in the Room. It's on Netflix streaming. It's amazing. Don't watch it if you don't like things that are amazing.
Right. Only watch it if you enjoy having fun
Right.
with your
What's
life.
coming out this week that you care about?
2 movies. One
Yep.
in wide release, one not in wide release, so I don't think I'm getting it this weekend. But Fast and Furious 6.
Yep.
Guys, this is the definition of a popcorn movie series. It could not
Yep.
be more fun. And the movie that's coming out in limited release before midnight, the third movie in the series with Julie Delpy and Ethan Hawke, directed by Richard Linklater, about how a relationship progresses over, at this point, decades. Certainly
Yep.
years, if not decades. And that's and there's other stuff coming out. Phil, what do you got?
Against all better judgment, I am looking forward to seeing The Hangover Part 3.
Okay.
And I mean against all better judgment. But
Sure.
I am looking forward to seeing it. Please be good. Please don't waste my time.
Right.
Please don't. I don't care about Epic. I haven't seen the other Before movies. I haven't seen before. I saw Before Sunset when I was Before Sunrise when I was very young.
Mhm.
And I didn't care. Now I'd like to see it as an adult, and I'd like to see Before Sunset, and then I'd like to see this. That sounds great. But they're not streaming.
And that's 10 seconds.
So that's my deal. That's my deal. Hangover 3, you're going to see Fast and Furious 6, you're going to see Before Midnight, and you're probably going to see 1,000 other movies. Jerk face.
That's true. And that'll be our week. Guys, I'm Andy Roth, and that's Phil Duvall, and we are Second Breakfast. We'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
The most important meal of the day. Second